Hello, I'm Dr. Jeffrey Kile.
And I'm Dr. Alvaro Reymunde.
Let's talk about media usage in kids. And, it's everywhere,
It's
right?
everywhere.
So, cell phones, smartphones, laptops, tablets,
TVs.
computers. Right?
Yeah.
So, what's the parent to do, right? So, I think for this conversation, let's sort of break it down a little bit, because I think it's different in different age groups.
I think so,
So,
definitely.
I have a toddler, let's talk about up to age 3 or so. What should we really be thinking about as far as media usage? Because one of the things, I often think about is that in that age group, children learn by watching us. And we as pediatricians oftentimes give advice on, if it's potty training or other developmental things, right? Do them. Or, eat as a family, because if the children see you doing it, they mimic your behavior. And I think one of the issues is media use is so ubiquitous with us, because I need to use it for work, and I need to do my computer work, right? So, and the children are watching from a young age us do that, and it seems normal. But what should we be doing, do you think, is the way to approach it?
Right. So I think in kids up to 3 years old, we should really limit it as much as we can. I know a lot of toddlers have been using a lot of the tablets because mommy needs to finish dinner, or we need some quiet time. Mommy needs to take a nap, and here's your tablet, hang out for like an hour. But I think we should really limit that to no more than an hour, I would really say. And even then, I wouldn't do any more than 20-30 minutes at a time. Because what happens is that these kids just become obsessed with these tablets, and it's really hard to get them to stop using them. And then the problem is that their developmental milestones can kind of get delayed a little bit. And it could also lead to difficulty sleeping at night.
Mm-hmm. Right, so there's a lot that goes on. And children at a young age, they learn by doing. So, and even as we start to get a little bit into the preschool age, right? So they learn by playing, interactive play, and setting rules, and
and at that age,
you don't get that out of
at that age, they're really developing their gross motor skills, and they really need to be doing things more like throwing a ball and stacking blocks and doing more things with their hands and really developing that brain.
And I think the key thing to remember here is that studies have been done on media use in children and in young children, and really playing with your child, talking to your child is better than sitting in front of a computer. And all those educational programming that we see that's marketed to children, there's really no scientific studies that have been done to say that using educational programming is any better than just interacting with your child. And further, we should also, if we're even watching TV with our children, again, at that young age, that 18 months through even age 5, we should be sitting there with them, and we should be interacting with them also. So
it should be guided play.
Correct. So they're still getting that human interaction.
Correct. Yeah. And also, I say this for every age group, we should really not use any electronics when we're together as a family. For example, eating our dinner, or just hanging out on a Saturday day. Take that time to talk to your kid, and just be more interactive.
So how about the older age group? That once we start getting to school age, what are some things we should be thinking about?
So it gets trickier now, because now schools are required you to have your handouts and everything online and on their computers. Schools are even handing computers out to children now. And a lot of their homework are done on the computer as well. And then in addition, more and more preteens and school-age kids are having their own cell phones. So they're constantly looking at a screen, and they're constantly on a computer screen or on the TV. So it gets really, really tricky. So I think the same recommendation would be to try to limit that screen time to 2 hours or less, if possible.
And I think also, as parents of young children, is also understanding what your children are viewing there, and how the parental controls work on the computers and laptops and tablets for your kids, so you can sort of set limits with them, so they understand.
That's a great point. That's a wonderful point. Because there is a huge amount of social media bullying going around also. And kids, due to the internet and the ease of access, are probably seeing content that they are not mature enough yet to see. So we really have to make sure all those parental locks are in place.
Sure. And as children get a little older and they start to have their own smartphones, then that opens up a whole access to the world, really.
Definitely.
And I think, not that there's any scientific data on this, but I think it's important that we sort of set the ground rules that, as parents, we're able to look at those phones and know what exactly they're doing, so they sort of feel that it's just not theirs. And I think that's very helpful.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Yeah, so I think to summarize, really got to watch what your children are doing, be actively participants with their media usage, and watch those parental controls.